Hello, everybody. Brian Good here, the latest edition of Storm Talk. Nice to see the sun today. Hopefully, you are enjoying that. It's been a gloomy couple of days, but things are beginning to improve. But we're getting back into that summer feel, which means the humidity is about to build back in, and then, yes, some thunderstorms. Now, as far as the severe risk for today, it's going to be found mainly across Kansas, Nebraska, and into portions of the Show Me State in Missouri, where we have an enhanced area of severe weather expected in that area. In fact, warnings already lighting up the map there in that region. As we head into the day on Friday, mainly a slight risk on the front range here of the Rockies itself, otherwise a marginal risk that does go into southwest Indiana and west Kentucky. We'll examine that here in a few moments, but there is enough wind in the mid-levels anyway to produce maybe some damaging wind gusts in a very isolated fashion, but that's about it. There's not much wind to talk about for the day tomorrow in our region. And then as we head into the day on Saturday, just a very slight chance for showers and storms in our area. No severe risk showing up. But here's our next system already moving out of the Rockies into the plains, so a slight risk has already been posted for Nebraska for that system. And that will be the one we watch, and that front will be as we into early next week. In the meantime, nice outside. The humidity really is not that bad at all today. Therefore, it's making for a very comfortable feel when you step outdoors. 78, that's as of 1:55. Within the next 5 minutes, before I'm probably done with this blog, in fact, the new numbers will be out, and more than likely will be either right at or just barely above the 80-degree mark. Nice to see the sun today because the stratus cloud deck that was trapped in our area yesterday has finally eroded away. That process started last evening and continues today. It's being replaced by a few areas of cumulus developing to our south and southeast and off to the north. But they are developing in this area of Kentucky, mainly because that is where there's still enough moisture around that in isolated showers, you can see here, could be produced in this region. Looks like to mainly impact our far southern and southeast counties. If anything were to pop, that's where your best moisture fields are. And again, it's nothing off the charts, but it's enough that I wouldn't rule out an isolated brief shower. Otherwise, dry air really has a firm grip on a good portion of Indiana and central Kentucky, which is good to see. So here's the setup as we head through the day tomorrow all the way through the weekend. We got several moving parts here moving through, but I will stress that overall the weekend will feature more dry weather than wet. All right, as we head into the day on Friday, we're going to start off with some patchy fog early in the day, especially if any areas pick up rain tonight and clear out in our southern counties. You have a chance to see some locally dense fog. Friday itself, I think it's going to start off nice, some sunshine and a more humid day. We'll likely see thunderstorms develop across Indiana and Illinois and eventually Missouri. There's a little pocket of wind that is going to move down to the south and southeast. This does not look to be overly organized at this point. We'll watch it carefully. But at this point, most of the activity should stay north of us during the afternoon. After you live in southern Indiana, you could see thunderstorms before sunset even takes place. So we have to watch you guys carefully. The activity then will dive to the south and east, should weaken as we head into sunset and thereafter, which will put it very close to the I-64 corridors waiting to Friday evening. And then overnight, the activity really begins to wash itself out. The problem is, though, this boundary is going to stall on Saturday in southern Kentucky. It's going to do two things. One, it's going to allow for some clouds around early in the day on Saturday. So Saturday's temperature actually looks cooler than it will be tomorrow because of some cloud cover early in the day. It depends on how quickly we get rid of that cloud cover for our high. But the boundary itself will fade out and then likely we regenerate to thunderstorms in the afternoon on Saturday. But at this point, our southern county is most at risk. Most of us on Saturday look to stay nice and dry. Then as we into Sunday, it looks very warm outside, if not just downright hot on Sunday itself. Thunderstorms will likely erupt in Iowa and near Chicago during the early morning hours of Sunday. This likely will be a complex of storms, or an MCS is what we call that. It will likely track just north of I-70 with maybe some very intense thunderstorms in this area of the Ohio Valley. The trailing edge of that will likely be the actual front itself. It may ignite some storms Sunday afternoon. They should stay north of us during the day on Sunday. The leftovers may affect us early Monday morning, but overall, this will be the boundary we'll have to face for Monday and Tuesday. And if the latest data is right, it may stall out again even all the way through Wednesday. So our storm chances may linger for a few days because this front, where it's located here on Sunday, is just going to slowly dive to the south and east and just kind of put the brakes on. So that'll be our headache to worry about for early next week when it comes to rain chances. Now looking at the soundings, this is from the NAM model. Again, you're looking at the ground going all the way up. This is for tomorrow afternoon. Our convective temperature tomorrow, this is the point where the atmosphere can generally develop into a thunderstorm. The atmosphere can get to that level, and the convective temperature tomorrow is about 84 degrees. We're forecasting high in the upper 80s. So there's a chance we could see some isolated thunderstorms that could pop on the radar before the activity in Illinois and Indiana even develops. An isolated pop-up tomorrow afternoon cannot be ruled out. I don't see it to be a major threat, but again, that risk is going to be there. As we head into Friday night, you see how those winds, especially in the mid-levels, do pick up quite a bit. So we'll watch that for maybe some gusty winds with some of these storms that dive in from Illinois and Indiana Friday evening itself. Pretty saturated here at the lower levels, so could be some decent downpours with that as it passes through Friday night. Saturday, overall, looks to be a fairly quiet day. We are not as moist in the atmosphere as we were on Friday. You can see these two lines, as I mentioned before, they do point in temperature line fairly far apart, so we're not as moist in the atmosphere for Saturday itself. So there will be some cumulus clouds. We can see that developing about close to 5,000 feet in the afternoon hours on Saturday, and that really will do it for Saturday the way it's looking. Sunday, by the way, our convective temperature is 94 degrees on Sunday. Don't think we're going to get that hot, so that's why I think Sunday overall will be what we call capped, and most of the day does not look to be much of a threat for severe weather or thunderstorm action in general for Sunday, but we'll keep an eye. That's how the data looks now. Looking ahead temperature-wise, again, we'll cool down with this boundary moving through with showers and storms early next week, and then once it fades off the map, we'll return back to the warmth and humidity as we head into next weekend, and then look at that, another front is showing up around the 14th or 15th of June that may drop back down. We're in this repeating pattern here of fronts that move in toward us, and then they stall out very close to Kentucky and Tennessee, then they fade off the map, and then another one moves down, and this pattern will likely continue at least the middle portion of June. That will actually keep us from taking advantage of any type of high heat that is developing to our south and southwest. We'll get the humidity, but a heat wave is unlikely with this kind of a pattern that is continuing to show up on the models. All right, that's the latest status for right now. We'll have much more today beginning at 5 o'clock. See you then.